Hello, everyone. I want to say thank you. Again, my name is Portia. Um, like I said, thank you for being here and being a part of my journey with the success and networking teams because this experience has definitely allowed me to work on things that I've always said I would go back to and I haven't, or, just hold myself more accountable. So I appreciate that. And I'm excited to see what doors open after this last one is submitted, and I am formally a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success. So let's get started on this last one. We're going to start with one message: be open to the possibilities. I want everyone to be open to the possibilities that are even outside of the things that they do, outside of their usual networks, outside of their usual industry, because you never know the opportunities that you'll have with meeting new people, meeting, different new organizations, businesses, and seeing where you fit, and meeting new people, right? So, with that being said, let's go into what we discussed in the last meeting. In the last meeting, we talked about uh, creating my draft for my signature talk outline because of what my goal was. My goal was to become a motivational speaker and teacher. Okay. And so I have my other part of my list was to post at least one short motivational video. And I've definitely done that. I actually did a message. So you can find my other videos on my Facebook page, my LinkedIn, and Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of that. And I recently put a short post and on my threads also about credentialing and the government shutdown. So yes, that is checked off. And then identify two organizations to pitch myself as a speaker. So with that one, I've done a lot of actually with my last post, I had two organizations, two groups that are uh, part of their mission is to create spaces for uh, thought leaders, people that just continue to put out a lot of beneficial information, teaching and leading others in their spaces and industries, and creating a platform for people that continue to just put out information and be informative for people that for their audience, for different audiences. And so I lead left with this question: what's one way you prepare to connect with an audience before presenting? So uh, I have I have interviewed, I've been interviewed, and I have the next step is being invited to speak at groups, organizations, institutions, everything's like that, right? And one way that I would prepare is to do my research, ask those questions. Like I've always said, no question is dumb. It gets you closer to the information that you're looking for, and you never know what the next person may need that answer also, right? And just too scared to ask. But I do my research, ask those questions. I make sure that I make the environment relatable and uh, open for them to be candid as much as possible, and to speak about themselves in a way that they don't really get to that much because they're always focusing on others. You don't really get that many chances to say the things that you would do, or things that how things have how you've moved through things, because now that you've gotten past those points, you're here to guide others to avoid those things that and challenges that you've experienced in leadership. So, yeah, that is part of my answer. If you want to view the entire answer that I have, I did leave it in the comment section of the last meeting that I did on my LinkedIn. Okay. So, with that, we're going to move forward with talking about the draft that I did for the signature talk outline. And this is going to be called my one pager. So I've been working on this one pager and trying to not really perfect it, because you can't, it's nothing's ever going to just be perfect, you know, maybe, but in this sense, not really. I wasn't expecting it to be absolutely perfect, but the outline of it, how it resonated with me, how it made me feel to talk to others about this, right? So when I began this journey with National Society of Leadership and Success, my SMART goal was simple and it has proven powerful. It was to become a motivational speaker and teacher who empowers women in healthcare and healthcare leadership to lead with authenticity and with confidence. Okay. I have been honored to continue working on myself so that I can be more present to others. It's felt good. So I want to I worked on my opening. So this is my opening that you see here. And Lipstick in Leadership is the name of the channel that I created. And I've recently posted about, I got like maybe 2 or 3 episodes on there. I'm continuing to work on it. And it's definitely, when I first started in healthcare, I believe that leadership meant being the loudest voice in the room, and I thought it was about proving myself and showing that I belong. Over time, I have learned that something uh, powerful in leadership isn't about the title you hold. It's not about the title. It's not even about the volume of your voice. It's about your presence, your purpose and your ability to inspire others by being your authentic self. And in that journey of mine, I have definitely done those things. It just, you sometimes you wonder, why am I not where I really really want to be right now? It's because you have to take those steps, you have to get there, and go through those challenges, and on the way make an impact. So that realization shaped my SMART goal this semester. I'll call it semester because we definitely went through between September and October with this. So during this time period, to become a motivational speaker and teacher who empowers women in healthcare leadership, and to find my confidence and their confidence, balance, and purpose in the way they lead, the way I lead. Okay, so moving on. The next part of my outline includes my core message, and this is the confidence. Talking about confidence, the objective there is to talk about the transformation. So in my career, I've worn many hats. I've you know I wore many hats from healthcare administrator, from the beginning as a dental and working in dental and dental management operations, things like that. A consultant, a mentor. And one thing I've seen consistently is how often women lead from survival mode instead of self assurance. We manage people, uh, we manage processes, we manage, expectations, but sometimes we forget to manage our energy and our confidence. That's where my channel, Lipstick and Leadership, was born. It took me a while, but I did it by my birthday, and it's more than a brand name or a podcast idea. It's my message. It's your message when I interview you guys. It's about embracing both sides of that leadership, the humility, the bold and the graceful, the professional and the personal, right? Because confidence is contagious, right? When women lead with clarity, compassion, and confidence, or anybody leads with clarity, compassion, and confidence, it creates uh, a light, and everyone around you will begin to come up, to rise, you know. And I've seen it, and it's great. It feels great, you know. Um, so we go over some of my talking points in this part of the outline, going over leadership, what leadership, lipstick and leadership symbolizes, and you know, the rest of my message with my messages there. So then we move forward to the next part. I created my own 3 P's of leadership power. That's what I'm calling it. Leadership power. And this was made to it shows to show what I've learned and how I created this simple framework for it, right? So we talk about presence, purpose, and persistence. Those are my 3 P's of leadership power. And it's the presence is to show up fully, whether you're leading a team, managing a meeting, or advocating for yourself. Presence is your power. It's how people remember you even after you leave the room. So that dress for success is definitely important. It's imperative that you dress for success with all of these, right? And I love the fashion part. So that comes easy for me, and I enjoy that part. It's fun for me, even putting on makeup, doing my hair. But anyway, the purpose, lead with a mission that's bigger than your position. Been there plenty of times. And my purpose is to inspire and teach others to see leadership not as control, but as collaboration. And I say that a lot to the people that I provide support to with leadership. When your purpose is clear, your path will follow naturally. So then the last P is persistence. Leadership takes resilience, right? There will be doubt, setbacks, and even burnout. And I've experienced all of it. And I continue to move forward because it's something that I really want to do, something that I really enjoy doing for myself and for others. But persistence is what keeps you aligned with your why. And I've heard a lot of people say we want to understand the why. So that goes for the people that you provide support to and provide mentorship to. They want to know the why too. So if you can do that for yourself, you can always do that for others, even when things get tough, right? These principles that I, put together and created guide not just how I lead others, but how I lead myself. And it's definitely created some changes, and yeah. I'm enjoying what I've been forming into as a speaker, yes, and a teacher. So thank you for this assignment. All right. So moving forward, the next part of my outline will include a segment for like reflection. So as you've seen in my last 2 presentations, I leave off with a question. And this one, I decided to engage my audience and spark some self-reflection like I did with the other 2 presentations, but with this one pager along with my outline when I speak. I probably would change the questions out, but here's one example I created. What does powerful leadership look like for you? Not in your organization's handbook, but in your own life, right? And when we define leadership for ourselves, we stop performing and start transforming. I'm going to leave that and let you think on that real quick. So then I include my closing. And that just allows me to talk about my journey, wrap that up through my graduate studies and my podcast and my consulting work. I show that my mission is clear, and it's to help women lead boldly and live fully, right? So because leadership isn't about perfection, it's about courage and confidence and the resilience, right? It's about showing up as yourself and inspiring others to do the same. So, my message with lipstick and leadership is you can be powerful and feminine. You can be assertive and kind. you can lead and live authentically. And that's exactly what I want my audience of leaders to hear from me. And I know that's what they need to hear, right? Because that's what I would want to hear, right? I'm excited about continuing to do this. So with this one pager, I just have like here, you see like what my draft would include. I can form it in the slides and I call it a one pager, but I gave myself that option. Like if you want to make it a slide and so others can see that, like, it doesn't have to be a one pager. Like if you're making a presentation. So let's go over what SMART is one more time. SMART, which is what got us to these presentations, um, is is the goal that helped the acronym that assisted me with forming my goal. Okay, and it starts with specifics. So the specifics allowed me to uh, figure out what my actual goal is. And it was to aim to building a career as a motivational speaker and educator with a focus on empowering women in healthcare leadership and beyond, right? Then the M, measurable, that is uh, measured like how the length of time it's going to take me. And I wanted to deliver at least 2 speaking engagements and create 10 short video lessons in the next 12 months. And then we have what would it uh, things that I have to achieve, the tools and stuff that I have to achieve this. And I leverage my MHA program and my podcast and my consulting business as platforms to expand my reach. I use those opportunities to speak in my meetings. I use those opportunities to provide training to others, to work on my way of speaking, my style of speaking, and how I can work on keeping people engaged, right? And then rewarding. It's to inspire women to step into leadership with confidence and authenticity. That would be my reward. Or to anybody, not just women, but specifically, for women, right? And then the time specific, another talking about time, how long it's going to take me. So launch my first official workshop on speaking engagement within 12 months. So we're still working on that, making sure I have, like I said, my time of, how long it takes to deliver a speech, the topics, because I don't want it to just be about one thing. So I want to continue developing my motivational speaking platform. I will integrate this message into my other platforms like my podcast and other speaking engagements, and then mentoring other women in healthcare and beyond through the workshops or digital platforms that I create or become associated with, a part of. So I want to say thank you guys for being a part of this. I'm so excited to continue building on these platforms that inspire women and everyone else um, in leadership and healthcare to embrace their power. Okay, so both in business and in life. And coming soon, you will see my one pager about my speaking and being open to other speaking engagements with other organizations and institutions coming soon. I want to say by Monday, maybe Tuesday. And it will be a part of my Lipstick and Leadership podcast and workshops for women redefining success on their own terms. And again, I want to say thank you. You can also click on this link to follow me on LinkedIn, or you can have the full link in comment section. All right. Thank you guys.